guys, welcome back. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna get pretty much just started on doing the first step, and what I'm gonna be doing is the brake lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of bending. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of flaring. Hopefully I can get everything in the video, because I'm gonna try to do the brake lines today, and I'm gonna try to do the fuel lines. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to the fuel lines because I am getting a late start. I went around today looking for parts that I needed to get this stuff going, and what I really needed were these acorn adapters. I call them acorn adapters, but they're these adapter fittings so we can go to an AN line and it goes down to an ORB. I believe it's an ORB, but it's like an M10 to a 10 or something like that to a 3A, and so that we can pretty much mount it into the master cylinder or the brake cylinder here. And then we're going to be using it for the proportioning valve also, because inside the car, pretty sure we're going to be doing steel braided lines inside of it. So I don't want to do all that. I kind of got a generic way of doing some bending, so you're going to see me do a little bit of bending in right now. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm going to be looking for as far as the fitting, the front fitting of this. So I thought we can have this right here, and I'll do a little bit of tweaking to make sure it adds up and basically looks symmetrical inside the engine bay. So again, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys kind of on a time lapse, and let's just go ahead and get started and see how far we can get, because I literally only have about an hour and a half to do this, and it's not going to be easy because I haven't done this in a while. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, I kind of have a mark of where I'm going to be doing it at. So what I'm going to do now is, this is my template. So I'm going to go ahead and try to match it up as best as possible. I got to come down more, meaning this thing here has to come down more than what it is, because it's going to bend it up way too short, and I don't want it to bend short. So right there looks pretty good. I'm using a actual nitrous line flare or bender, and it has everything for 90 degrees, 180, so on and so forth. So this is where I'm going to bend it to a 90 degree. That's that line. This gets a little frustrating because having to get it. So as you guys can see here, basically I'll just flare it out this way, twist it a little bit, and the line will be twisted 90, and there you go. So I'll continue tweaking it. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse again. So as I stated, I forgot to show you guys, so I'm going to cut a piece off this one. This is the line that I messed up on, and I'm going to show you guys how to flare, because I actually did not record that like a dummy. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tightening my line cutter, do it a couple of times, squeeze it down again, repeat the same process, and it'll break off once it goes through the whole setup. So, and by the way, I do clean the inside of this, so I usually get a small drill bit that fits inside, cleans it up, and it takes out the burr in the inside of it. Since I can't get in there with the small deburr kit, I use a small little drill, and that way it cleans it out. Alright guys, so now that I have the lines pretty much bent, I did one of them, but I didn't show you guys how to flare it. So I bought this tool from Eastwood. It is a dual flare kit. It does both ends, and it does it really well. So what I did is, on this one, you can see kind of has like the acorn, I guess that's what I call it, 45 degree flare. So basically what ends up happening with that is that it ends up sealing, if I can get this stupid shit to cooperate with me, it ends up matching it perfect. So the fitting here of this part will absolutely grab. Let me put this camera down. All right, as I was explaining, this piece here, if you see the way it's shaped like a cone, is basically how you want this piece right here to be also. So that way, when it goes in to make a full contact, after tightening, it will fully seal down and lock in. You can do another one, I believe it's like a single flare. I forgot what it's really called, but it's a single flare. And what that does is it doesn't really seat it, it just kind of just opens it a little bit, and it doesn't like squish it to be able to have the full cap on it. So right here it'll seal. So basically that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to show you on this one because this is one I messed up on. I didn't show you guys that, but I messed up, so I can always cut it off again. So I'm going to show you guys to do it on this side, how I do it on my Eastwood brake line kit. So here is the line right here, and what I do is I put the sleeve over this one first, and then I put this like this, so that way when it acorns or when it flares out, it'll fit this piece here. I scoot it all the way back, and what I do here is put it onto my piece that I have right there, and then hold the line real quick. That's basically what I do. It's hard to do with one hand. Lock it in right there. Push this all the way back because it has to be all the way back. Make sure the line is as even to the brick that I call it. Tighten it down. And then here, you're going to see that we have a 3/16 op number 2 and a 3/16 number 1 right here. So I'm going to set it to number 1, pull it till it stops, put it on number 2 where this one has that little acorn piece, and then once it aligns, pull it until it stops. From there, you're done. So I'll show you guys right now what it looks like. And again, guys, doing brake lines seems like it's easy, but it's actually a pain in the ass to make sure that it looks right. So as I stated, we flared it twice. It's a dual flare. It gives it that shape there, and that ends up matching the sleeve part of the tube nut sleeve. That's what they're called on the internet, tube nut sleeve. So from here, you see how it matches up. Then the next piece slides over, locks in, and that's what will slide into the other piece that we adapted to. So it's this like this. So this one here is a messed up piece that I messed up. It is what it is. I'm still going to reuse the sleeves. I just got to cut it off and it should be perfectly fine. So I did do both of them. I did not cut the bottom part because I'm still waiting to get inside, and I got to throw the 90-degree bulkheads on it. So I'm going to show you guys how that looks real quick, and let me know your guys' thoughts. Alrighty guys, so right here I ended up doing both lines. Actually I did one of them, and I did not flare the bottom pieces like I did up here in the tube nut sleeve, because still got to add the 90-degree bulkheads that are going to be going into the firewall. So still got to get all that situated. That is the reason why I'm not doing that right now, but for the time being it's going to stay like that. It looks pretty good the way it is. I sent a couple of pictures to Tony, and he's actually liking it. So it's very hard to do being with all this stuff inside the car. It's always easier to do it without it being in there because it just matches up way better. So we're still, another reason why I'm not doing that is because we might be changing the brake booster to an EK one. I think from what I've heard is that it's thinner. So he's debating on what he's going to do with that to bring it in a little bit more because of this piece right here of the downpipe. So that is something where we're kind of iffy about, but we'll figure that out once we get to that. If we have to wrap it right there, then we'll wrap it for the time being. But that's where it's going to be at for the most part. And if we can switch out the booster, then we can pull that in a little bit more. So right now that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me today, but we'll pick back up on it tomorrow. We got to jack the car up so that we can start doing the fuel lines. From there we got to cut everything, route everything, get everything situated, and that way we can at least have some parts done of this build, because we still got a lot of work to do, such as charge pipes, exhaust work, fuel lines, and finishing off the brake lines inside and getting all the steel braided lines all situated too, because all that has to be done to the proportioning valve. So yeah, let's just go ahead and continue, and we'll pick back up tomorrow, guys. All Alrighty guys, so next day, figured I'd come out in the garage, get a little bit more work done. The next step is we already did the brake lines. That clears the wastegate. I put that on, we cleared it, so that's no issues right there. So that's all taken care of. I just got to put the bulkheads into the thing, but I'll do that once I remove the whole sidewinder and everything else, so that I can get in there, drill correctly, measure out correctly, and that way the bulkheads are even. But nonetheless, now it's time to do the fuel setup. So what I got to do is, I have the car raised up already. I have to cut the fuel lines, so I get underneath the car, get a light down here, cut the lines where they need to be cut, and then we're gonna go ahead and flare them. It looks like one of them is already cut, so we're probably gonna brace it right there, put an adapter fitting to a tube nut or to the dash 6. It converts it over to the dash 6, so we already have those here. This is what we're gonna be using, so I gotta get down there and cut it with the little thingamajig and the tube nut cutter, or the tube cutter, and get that flared out and get that fitted. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and start doing all the lines, the feeds and the returns to everything. I'm double checking with my homie to see if this is okay to run it here. This is the main reason why I don't like sidewinders, is just because it's really close to the thing. Yeah, I can move it over here, I can find a way to put it somewhere else. It's just really where he wants it. I just got to figure all that out with him. That's the reason why, like I said, I like my manifolds up there compared to sidewinders. But waiting to hear back from them. So let me go ahead and get started on cutting those lines down here, getting all that ready so we can start doing the adapter to the dash 6 all the way up to the fuel rails. So put this piece on first after the line is cut. This other copper sleeve will go over the other line. Actually, it might be too big, but what I do is I cap it out, the fitting, all the way into the line. From there, I line it up and I tighten it. From there, it should squeeze. So we're gonna go ahead and see if it locks in. Let me grab my wrenches and we'll get that situated. And fuel E85 smells nasty when it's old. Alrighty guys, so you guys seen that I cleaned the line, and then I ended up putting the crush fitting onto it where it tightens and it compresses it, so it turns it into a dash 6. Got a filter on that, and then from there we're going to add the 45 going all the way into the engine bay. So that line will be coming to the front of the fuel rail. We're going to route it down here, come to the fuel rail here, and then we'll do the other one for a full 180 coming around, which is exactly how I did mine. Down here to the fuel pressure regulator. I already spoke with the homie. He's cool with it being here in this area because he's going to run a triple blanket, and if he needs to move it, I'll leave enough slack so we can go up and down if we have to be. But we shouldn't have to do any of that anyways, so we should be golden there. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue now. We're going to bring the feed to the bottom of the subframe, bring it up in here, and put this fitting. So before we start, I got to clean my area over here because it's a straight up disaster, and I need to get reorganized again. So I'll pick up with you guys in a few minutes. Alrighty, for the fuel lines, I'm going to figure out which way is going to be the best way to go, kind of to route it, and most likely it's going to have to be a straight fitting, so we can get the straight fitting there, and then it'll curve down, and then go straight to the back, to the fuel filter. From here, we'll swap over the fitting, because I need to use the fitting over here. Once we get the length for that one, we'll do this one, U180 to the fuel pressure regulator right there. So we know basically the feed line coming from the filter is going to take a straight no matter what. It's going to be two straights now that we know that because of the filter. So the way these work right here, if anybody has not done it with PTFE lines, I don't know if it came with more, it did actually. So what you got to do is the way I do it. This has this tape on it. We take off the tape, and as I stated, you take off the tape because it already comes cut. And what I like to do with PTFE lines, because it does have a sleeve that you need to put in it also. So one thing I do is slide this over the material, slide it over. Then what's going to have to happen is this. The material around the tube, make sure you don't pick yourself, because I will. But you go around loosening it. Make sure not to hurt the inside of the tube, and what ends up happening is that you start flaring it out so that way you can get the metal sleeve around it. And once you get the metal sleeve around it, then you can lock it in place. Right now I'm loosening it, I'm frying the edges. So after, what I do is I pick off the roundness after I put the sleeve on, this piece, and then this sleeve is going to go around the plastic sleeve. Be careful because it will slide off sometimes, and the metal shavings from that will get you. So what I like to do is go in, I then tap it in till I see the plastic inside there touch this piece here. Once it touches it, I know I'm good. From there, I slide in this piece into the nut, and then this piece right here, you just pull up and you tighten it, and it'll start tightening. And what I like to do is push the hose up as I'm tightening down, so that way it doesn't push the sleeve or the hose down and loosen it as you're tightening it. So I like to tighten it, push up. Once I feel that it's getting tight, we're good. I'll go a little bit more. There you go. It is tight. So now this one's going to go to the filter. I'll pull it up through the engine bay, get a correct measurement, and then we'll cut it again. I'll show you the next step. And that's the way I cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process, flare it out. I'm going to let it cool down before I do anything because the plastic in the inside, the PTFE line, gets warm, and I'm going to let it cool down so that way it gets back to like a hard shape or hard feeling. So that. Alrighty guys, so fuel lines are all installed. There's some stuff that I need to wait for still. I'm waiting for the spacers that go down under here that we can lock it in, and then the Allen bolt wrench or Allen bolts that go through it, so lock it in place. I still got to add the other two injectors. We'll get that done here shortly after button up everything, but I know I need to go do all that still. So you can see all of the lines are fully made. They are kind of they're all flowing with each other the way he wanted them to, tuck them down out of the way. And right here we shouldn't have interference. So basically this line down here is the feed. It'll come to the beginning of the fuel rail. From there it wraps all the way around, and then from there it goes to the fuel pressure regulator to regulate all of the fuel to make sure we have enough. Vacuum port is facing this way. We are going to run a vacuum block under here, like how I did on mine, because he doesn't have a lot of vacuum areas. So instead of tapping, we're just going to run that block, and that way it'll give it the same thing. We can tuck it out of the way and get it on there. So I'm not tripping about that. He's not either. But fuel lines are all done. We're all connected to the bottom of the car also with using those adapters. I think it's like 5/16 and 3/8 to -6. Forgot the measurements of the hoses, but I had ordered the wrong one the first time. So filter is also on the feed line. Filter has to go on the feed line to clean before getting to the fuel rail. So that's the way I did it on my other car, and this is the way we did it on his car. So he was cool with mounting it down here. This is where he wanted to mount it at. So you can see it'll tuck up high once everything is bolted up, because we still got brackets to put up here, and we're going to get all that situated. I also got to remove these lines here because these are the two rear brake lines, and this is the vent for the tank. So we're going to cut that back there more so that we don't have that line all the way on the bottom. And then these are going to go, because we are doing the full lines all the way to the back inside the car with steel braided lines. So I got to snake it out of there. It's going to be fun, but we'll do that when we get to that. But for the time being, this is pretty much how it's going to wrap it up for this video, because I need to really get started today on the next video so that we don't fall behind. And the goal for that is to actually start on this pipe right here, this setup right here. Got to make sure we have enough clearance, because if not, again, brake lines will have to get done. I'm not tripping about it. That's the reason why also I'm not bolting them down, just in case we need to do that. But for the time being, you guys got the gist of how we're designing it. You can see how it's gonna go. Just got to do the other brake lines coming from here into the wheel well, back in here into this section back here. But that is something I'm going to be figuring out how to do it. Get some motivation, or get some inspiration actually from the homie Matthew. He did a brake line on the K-Rari's car. He did brake lines on his. He did brake lines on some other cars. And I've gotten a lot of inspiration on that. So I kind of want to do that way. But we'll see how everything goes. I'm going to try my best. Again, I'm going to try my best to give the best possible job that I possibly can on my end, because I'm really trying to get my work out there, and I don't want to do anything half-assed, and that is not the goal. I don't want to do half-assed stuff. So yeah, with that being said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I know it's kind of all over the place. I wasn't really prepared, but on this next step, I am going to get prepared and make sure that we can follow through, get everything done, and get it done correctly. So also update, I did get an intercooler. The intercooler, unfortunately, I am not gonna run on this car because it looks like shit. So these welds right here and on this material, it is just really thin material, and I do not want to run that. So I am returning this one. I ordered a new one, should receive it today. You guys will see that on the next video, but I am going exactly with this one. I found my old purchase on eBay, and I just purchased another one so that way I can get it, because this right here is the way to go. These cheap ass materials and these cheap ass production companies that are on eBay, be careful with what you get, because this is really thin metal and the welds look like shit. I'm not saying my welds look any real prettier or any better than that, but I can say, for me, I think, my opinion, my welds look better than that, and this just looks like a fast-ass, half-ass production line. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about bringing the Type R into the garage, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time.